Every baseball fan knows the lore of the New York Yankees. The pinstriped uniforms, 27 World Series titles, the infamous grooming policy, and of course, Yankee Stadium. For over a century, the Yankees have presented themselves as the very embodiment of excellence and tradition, carrying with them an aura of winning wherever they played. But over the past decade, that mystique has slowly eroded. A once proud franchise built on order, accountability, and an almost militaristic discipline has given way to an organization that feels rudderless and mismanaged. While the Yankees still field talented rosters and make playoff appearances, the aura of invincibility and the Yankee way have slowly but surely been collapsing. To understand the Yankee way, you have to understand the values of this guy. George Steinbrenner III, known as the Boss, is the man who defined the Yankees' modern identity. He took control of the Yankees in 1973, following one of the team's worst decades to date, one where they saw their first losing season in 40 years. Yankees fans were frustrated with the incompetence, and George understood that.
I bleed like those guys out there do, the fans. I mean, they hate to see it lose, and I hate to lose.
From the start, he established himself as a force of nature. He demanded discipline, professionalism, and above all, winning. His grooming policy became synonymous with the team. No long hair, no beards, only mustaches were allowed. Legend has it that when Lou Piniella was traded to the Yankees in 1974, he told George Steinbrenner, Jesus Christ was the greatest man to ever walk this earth, and he had long hair. To which Steinbrenner agreed, shook his hand, and said, "You're right, now follow me." He then led Piniella to a large swimming pool and added, "If you can walk across this water, you can wear your hair however you like." For Steinbrenner, the clean-cut image was more than cosmetic. It symbolized order and tradition that defined the Yankees.
When you put the pinstripes on, you're not just putting a baseball uniform on. You're wearing tradition and you're wearing pride. And you're going to wear it the right way.
It bridged the Yankees of present to those of the past, ensuring as the decades went by, the team would always look the same. Clean-cut, in white pinstripes at home and gray on the road. Combined with aggressive spending and a relentless will to win, the formula produced results, ushering in a new Yankee golden era, with the team capturing 7 championships, reasserting itself as baseball's premier franchise. The Steinbrenner Yankees were not without chaos. The Bronx Zoo years of the boss's early tenure were infamous for clashing egos and constant managerial turnover. Yet even in dysfunction, they won. George's presence loomed large. Players feared him, respected him, and ultimately bought into the culture he enforced. The Yankees weren't just a team, they were an institution. Steinbrenner was known for firing staff and demanding the benching of players who disobeyed him, because there was one thing he hated above all else: incompetence. Fast forward to present day, and something just feels off with the Yankees. They still spend an absolute boatload of money, but they just don't feel like the Yankees. It's been over a decade since their last ring, and the energy around them just feels different. But how did this happen? It starts with George's death in 2010, and the transition of power to his son Hal. Though Hal still upheld the Yankee way, even winning a ring in his first year of control in 2009, slowly the iron fist that his father held began to loosen. The easiest sign to spot of this erosion of culture is the team's physical appearance. First, it was the uniform itself. In 2023, the Yankees stitched a Star Insurance advertisement onto their iconic pinstripes. For decades, the Yankee uniforms had been sacred, free of names, free of logos, timeless. By breaking that for a corporate sponsorship of all things, ownership sent a clear message: money now outweighed tradition. The second major change came this year in 2025, when the team officially modified the grooming policy to allow beards after reliever Devin Williams complained about the rule. It was the death of George's most beloved tradition, and with it, the symbolic final nail in the coffin of the Yankees' unique physical identity. But physical appearance is not the major issue in the death of Yankee culture. In fact, it's just the tip of the iceberg. These symbolic betrayals mirror the larger cultural collapse within the organization. Once renowned for its relentless pursuit of victory, the Yankees now seem to be lost. Over the past couple of seasons, the team has felt off. Decisions on the field often seem random, and many times go against the instinct of longtime baseball fans. The most famous example would be last year's World Series, when the Yankees brought in Nestor Cortez, who had not pitched in months due to injury, with the bases loaded and a 1-run lead in the 9th.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
It all came to a head this year as the team began to massively underperform, leading many fans to call for the firing of manager Aaron Boone. The reality, however, is that Boone is not entirely responsible for making these seemingly random decisions. Former Yankee outfielder Clint Frazier, whose podcast was actually a major inspiration for this video, spoke out about his experience with the team and confirmed a suspicion that many fans had, that being the massive role the analytics department plays in the team's everyday baseball decisions.
The Yankees are capable of winning a World Series this year, and they are capable of winning it most years. We were capable of winning it almost every year that I was a part of it, but every year there was something behind the scenes or some kind of play that happened that caused us to not win it. They will not win the World Series if this analytical car is driving it. They won't.
During Boone's tenure, the lineup has been all over the place and seemingly random, with a new version almost every day. Frazier explained that this was because the lineups were largely analytics-based, with no consideration for whether a player was hot or cold. According to him, the team simply did not believe that concept, which feels wrong in the traditional baseball sense. He also explained how the bullpen is predetermined by analytics, with each situation mapped out in advance and specific pitchers assigned for different hypothetical situations, regardless of actual in-game feel. While the team has never confirmed this, it would explain Boone's managerial style. And if not true, the alternative would be Boone making random, inexplicable decisions for 7 years. Either way, not good. That said, Boone is not completely off the hook. A good example of his mismanagement is highlighted by this guy.
So we had the former manager of the New York Yankees up in the yes booth, Joe Girardi, and he notices the wheel plays on during one of Trent Grisham's at bat. I believe it was the 7th inning. Trent was clearly going to bunt to try to move the guy over. And Joe Girardi points out, don't bunt the ball to third. They have the wheel play on. They're going to get the out of third. So why is it that he can notice that and comprehend that fast when our guy in a 2-0 count is still going to continue to bunt the ball to third and they're going to get the out of third? Like, that's the type of things that need to be picked up on by not only Trent, our dugout, Boone. Like, that needs to be, comprehended, the base coaches.
Frazier also explained what it felt like to play under a team that relied so heavily on this analytical style of managing.
We're in the middle of the 2020 playoffs, and we're playing the Rays, and Davy Garcia is the guy that they say is going to pitch the game. And so they do that because the Rays are another analytical team and know that they'll put a huge lineup out there that's full of left-handed hitters. Righty pitcher, left-handed hitters. We're going to get crazy. We're going to try to fool the Rays. Davy's only going to face a few batters. We're going to take him out. We're going to bring a left-handed pitcher in. They got a full left-handed lineup. We're going to shock the world. Didn't happen. And so when that happens, as a player in the locker room, to know that we just went the entire season to get to this point, and they got cute and they tried something that they didn't try during the regular season in the playoffs in a moment that's extremely crucial, and it backfires, and every player is sitting there thinking, what the just happened? What the just, So
The results of the analytical management have been mixed, but the Yankees have never truly been dominant under it. And year after year, the roster has looked strong on paper, yet the team has consistently underperformed. The approach has seemingly hurt clubhouse morale at times, and most importantly, it has not delivered a championship. In fact, the one time they got close, it can be argued that they lost because of it. The issue is not that the Yankees tried something new. In baseball, sometimes you have to adapt and innovate to win. The problem is that they have continued down this path for more than 7 years, even though it has become clear that it does not work. The bottom line is that the culture has changed, and not for the better. And it's not far-fetched to believe that George Steinbrenner would have never tolerated this level of incompetence. The Yankees are far from irrelevant. They still sell out stadiums, sign superstars, and reach October. But competing for a ring and winning one are two very different things, and relevance is not the same as mystique. For decades, opponents who stepped into Yankee Stadium already were beaten by the aura, and that aura is gone. Without it, the Yankees are simply another big market team with money to spend but no soul to guide it. The fall of the Yankees is not defined solely by their inability to win, but also by the way in which they lose. It is marked by the death of tradition and the rampant unaccountability spreading within the organization. George Steinbrenner built a culture of discipline, fear, and glory, a culture that, for better or worse, demanded the absolute best from everyone. And without a course correction, that culture will be gone forever.